Try that one again. Good afternoon. Well, we're getting there. Welcome here. My name is Kevin Hunt. I am a veteran service officer and I service 4 of the communities in the area: Amesbury, Newburyport, Merrimack, and Salisbury. And I'm honored to be here at the 13th annual Newburyport Yankee Homecoming Veterans Luncheon. You know, the word veteran has a lot of meaning for a lot of people. I'm a Vietnam vet. It had a lot of different meaning back then than it does now. The interesting thing about veterans is that we only represent about 6% of the population of this country. That means if you're walking down the street, 94 people will pass you by until you encounter a veteran. But you can be certain of one thing: if you're a veteran and you encounter another veteran, he or she has your back. Every one of us raised our right hand and we swore that we would defend our country with our lives. I don't care if you're a reservist, National Guard, active duty, combat veteran. Everyone said the same thing. Some people sacrificed a little, some people sacrificed a lot. But there's one thing that we want to remember. Not one veteran in the world started a war, but veterans ended every one of them. So we're going to have a great meal today, and I would like to now introduce Joan Clifford. Joan is the director of Edith North Rogers Veteran Hospital in Bedford.
Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me this privilege of being able to join you. I am not a veteran, but I am the daughter and granddaughter of a World War II veteran, so I know how much you've all given to all of us. And so it's been my pleasure to work with veterans since I'm a nurse, as well as being the medical center director. And right out of nursing school, I went to the Boston VA, and so I've spent my whole adult life serving veterans, and it has definitely been my honor to be able to do that. For those of you who, I'll just give you a little bit of kind of what's going on at the Bedford VA. For those of you who don't know, in addition to the Bedford VA main campus, we have clinics in Lynn, Gloucester, and Haverhill. And so if you're not getting service from us, we'd love to be able to take care of you. So if you need to find out about that, just come by and stop and see me. We have, in addition to kind of regular primary care, mental health, and geriatric care, we also have a lot of complementary therapies now. So we have a MOVE program for weight loss, and we have yoga and Tai Chi, and we're working with some communities like the YMCA in Ipswich, and we're working with the Y in Beverly now to kind of bring some services, kind of really focus more on wellness than on illness, because we want everyone to stick around for a long time. So if you want any more information about Bedford VA and the services we offer, please just stop by and see me. I'll be here all afternoon. So I would now like to bring up the USS Constitution color guard. Now I'd like to bring up country artist Ayla Brown to do the national anthem for us. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Board. Mark.
Please be seated. And now we have some citations to give out.
Thank you. Can I have Representative Calcourse, Senator DiZoglio, and Representative from Bruce Tarr's office, Senator Bruce Tarr's office up, please. And can I also have Douglas Bryant? Can you come up, please? So this year, our guest of honor is Douglas Bryant, Navy veteran. And to show my appreciation and our appreciation for his service, I've asked these fine individuals to provide him a citation, which they will each present to Navy veteran Douglas Bryant.
Thank you, Don. Can we first give a round of applause to Don Jarvis for the tremendous luncheon that he's putting on this morning? Thank you very much. Also a wonderful veteran. My name is Diana DiZoglio. I am your state senator here in Newburyport. I thank you so much for coming out to this tremendous celebration to celebrate our beloved veterans who have fought so hard to protect our freedoms. As the niece of a World War II veteran, with a grandfather who's also a veteran, I say thank you for your service, Douglas. Thank all of you who have served our country and fought so that women and men like me and Jim and Senator Tarr's office and everybody here has the right to run in the democratic process, to participate in our government, to keep our nation free to work together. And I think that it's very important that we come together to honor those who have made significant sacrifices. And one of those people today is Douglas Bryant. And we are here to say, from the state of Massachusetts, from the state Senate, that we honor you. We thank you. We're forever grateful for the time, for not just the time, but for putting your life on the line for all of us. We're forever grateful. And we have just a small token of our appreciation from the state Senate. It says, and I'll let you look at it with me, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts State Senate hereby extends its sincerest congratulations to Douglas Bryant in recognition of your extraordinary service during, are you ready for this? World War II, the Korean War, the Cold War, and Vietnam War. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future success in all of your endeavors. And we thank you so much for all that you do, have done, continue to do. And thank you for being here today. We honor you.
he asked me to come and represent him. Unfortunately, he's not able to make it today. He is covering informal session at the State House. But we just want to say thank you so much for all you do, all you have done, your military service, and as the senator did say, you started off at 17 years old, and you served in World War II. You served in the Korean War, in the Cold War, and in the Vietnam War. We thank you so much for your service.
I thank Senator Tarr. Senator Tarr is my friend.
And I will let him know that. Yes. I also, on behalf of the senator, would like to thank our veterans, those who have served and those who are serving, for all you have done so that the rest of us can enjoy our freedoms. God bless you, Mr. Bryant, and God bless America. Thank you. Thank you.
I also just want to let everybody know that Representative Mira from the 2nd Essex District is here. And I'm James Kalkors from the 1st Essex. I represent Newburyport, Salisbury, and Amesbury. But I'd like Representative Mira to come up here with me. And also from Congressman Moulton's office, we have Morgan Bell here, and I know she has a citation to give too. So she should probably come up as well. But Kevin Hunt had indicated earlier when he gave the opening remarks about the sacrifices that the veterans and those serving in the military make. Some make small sacrifices, some make big sacrifices, and I know all too well, I just lost my first cousin, Jimmy Casanona, who's a warrant officer in the Army, 101st Airborne, last April when his Apache helicopter crashed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and he and his co-pilot died tragically. And I have my cousin, Erin Mohan, is serving. She's stationed in San Diego. She's a commander of the United States Navy. And I know the sacrifices that they make, the sacrifices, they don't get to, go to family get-togethers and gatherings, and they miss birthday parties and reunions. So I want to first, like the senator had just indicated, thank all of you for the sacrifice that you make to give me and all of us up here, elected officials, the privilege and honor of serving you in the State House and in Capitol Hill in Washington. And with that, Douglas, I have here for you too a citation from the House of Representatives from myself and Representative Mira of the 2nd Essex District. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers the sincerest congratulations to you in recognition of your honorable service and dedication to the United States Navy during World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and Cold War. The entire membership of the House extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors, given this 30th day of July 2019 at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Robert A. DeLeo, the Speaker of the House, and myself, James Kalkor, State Representative for the 1st Essex District, and Leonard Mira, State Representative from the 2nd Essex District. Thank you very much for your service.
I want to thank the United States Navy. I would not be the man I am today without the leadership and the training and the great shipmates I had in the Navy. Thank you so much.
So I'm going to ask for Douglas. I'm going to ask for one more veteran to join us. So I'm going to have Morgan Bell presenting 2 citations from Seth Moulton's office. Kevin Hunt, can you join us quickly? So Kevin Hunt, he did the opening remarks. He is the Veteran Service Officer for the City of Newburyport. Where did Morgan go? It's okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Morgan Bell. I am a Regional Director for Congressman Seth Moulton of the Massachusetts 6th District. He apologizes he can't be here. He's in Washington, D.C. this week, but I believe that later in the program we will be showing a short video of him just thanking everybody and apologizing for him not being able to be here. But again, thank you all for having me, and I just wanted to say first of all, to Donald. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Douglas Bryant, thank you so much for your service. From me, from the congressman, from our entire office. you are quite an inspiration, as is everybody here today. So on behalf of Congressman Seth Moulton in the Massachusetts 6th District, I would like to present a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Douglas Bryant in recognition of his extensive service to support and defend the Constitution and the people of the United States of America against all enemies. Our nation is forever grateful for his service. Congratulations. Hello, Kevin. Yes. And for Kevin, again, thank you so much for the work that you do in Newburyport and the surrounding communities for veterans and the community as a whole. So on behalf of Congressman Seth Moulton, I'd like to present a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Kevin Hunt in recognition of his dedicated service to the veteran community in Newburyport. Congratulations.
And I'd like to introduce the Mayor of Newburyport, Donna Holliday.
Thank you. I am so impressed with the turnout here, and thank you to each and every one of you for your service and your dedication as a veteran, as active members of our armed forces, and for all you do to keep our country safe. I am so proud of the veterans' work that happens in our city. I thank Kevin Hunt, who moved over there, for the great resource he provides to all veterans and their families. We have so many important organizations in this community. The work of Don, and I know he was recognized at opening ceremonies for the work he has done to support our veterans. Derek Hines Foundation, the home base, the list goes on in terms of the work that we do in our community and the many, many people who support our veterans. So thank you so much, and especially a special thanks to you. Thank you.
You always know that the Army goes rolling along. Valley Forge, buses red, San Juan Hill and Patton State, and the Army goes rolling along. Minutemen on the stop, always fighting from the hop, and the Army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, and the Army's on its way. Count to cadence out its strong. For wherever you go, you will always know that the Army goes rolling along. One more verse. Men in ranks, men who froze, till the Army met the foes, and the Army went rolling along. Faith in God, then we're right, and we'll fight on with a might, and the Army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, and the Army's on its way. Count on to cadence, loud and strong, 2, 3, or wherever we go. You will always know that the Army goes rolling along. That the Army goes rolling along. Okay, it's the first time I've ever read those words that way, but anyway. I'm in the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and my son-in-law just retired as a warrant officer, W-2 in the Coast Guard. As a matter of fact, officially, he's still active duty until September. So I keep telling him if he doesn't wise up, they can actually reactivate him. You know, but anyway, this is the Coast Guard song. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. To a happy voyage home. Everybody knows that's the Navy song, right? One more time. Anchors away, my boys. Anchors away. Farewell to foreign shores. We sail and break the day.
of honor today. My initial invite was extended because Senior Chief Petty Officer Douglas Bryant was born in 1926 at Anna Jake's Hospital.
We have to leave now.
The community thought it was fitting, since we heard his voice for the first time in Newburyport, that we'd get to introduce him now. My boss allowed me to introduce him because of my previous affiliation. I was served in the U.S. Air Force. But probably more importantly to the chief is that 4 of my brothers served in the Navy and 1 in the Marine Corps. Of them, 2 of them were submariners and served for 20 years like the chief. So, and not to have the Army feel left out, my great uncle served in World War II in the 90th Infantry Division, 358th Regiment. He was on Normandy Beach and continued to push into France and gave the ultimate sacrifice for his country on November 9th. It's an honor that Chief Bryant is here with us today. He lived a life with a backdrop of many challenging events. He lived his life with the backdrop of many challenging events: the Great Depression, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, and the Cold War. I enjoyed reading his book because it was clear the picture of life that was like during that time. And at the same time, it illustrated Senior Chief Bryant's personal outlook on life. If there's a job that needs to be done, you just need to do it. By 1931, his family had moved to New Hampshire because they needed to do that to live off the land and survive the Depression. When World War II came about, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy and volunteered for the submarines. In his book, he describes that of the 16,000 American submarines he served during World War II, 3,606 were lost. 1 in 5 American submariners did not survive World War II. That was the highest casualty rate in the U.S. military during World War II. He completed 5 wartime patrols, earned 2 battle stars, and sent several Japanese ships to the bottom of the sea before turning 20 years old. In addition, Senior Chief Bryant was also bestowed service awards, Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign, the Asia Pacific Theater, the World War II Occupation Medal, the National Defense Medal, Combat Action Medal, the Philippines Island Liberation Medal, and the Philippine Islands Presidential Citation. The Senior Chief Bryant continued in the Navy for a distinguished career, including becoming a Navy diver. So not only was he a submariner, but he decided he wanted to experience life outside the submarine. He retired in 1967. He is someone that always did the job that needed to be done. Please join me in welcoming Senior Chief Petty Officer Douglas Bryant.
If I drift off here away from the microphone. I'm going to use a few notes here to get myself started, and then I'm going to wing it from there. I am truly honored to be a guest of honor here today for such a patriotic city as Newburyport, where I was born. Fellow veterans, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, although I have spent a lot of my Navy career underwater, I am afraid I could not have become a Navy SEAL. I salute you, Shipmate Sal. We are all shipmates in the Navy. Where's Sal? In my talk here today, I will use my book, The Navy Gave Me Shoes, as a guide. While we're on the subject, let's talk about how the title of the book came about. I can give you a couple of versions. When I was a young kid living in the woods of New Hampshire during the Depression, we couldn't wear our shoes in the summertime. We had to go barefooted. We had to save our shoes for school. So that's how we came about the title for the book. Now, I had a great buddy who has since passed away. I couldn't talk here today without talking about my great shipmate, Vinny. So when I say Vinny, you know what nationality he was. Vinny was a funny guy. Vinny was a ship's cook on submarines in World War II. And I think possibly Vinny might have been a little jealous that I stayed in the Navy and got the pension, and he didn't get the pension. So when he had a captive audience, and he would talk about me, he'd always use my last name, Bryant. And he always great with his hands. He'd say, Bryant here. He said, he was a shit kicker. He said, from New Hampshire. He said, the recruiter, during World War II, he said the recruiter came through Madison, New Hampshire. He noticed Doug didn't have shoes on his feet. So he told Doug if he'd like to join the Navy, he'd fix him up with a pair of shoes. So he said, Doug thought that was a good idea, and he joined the Navy. But he said, when the war was over, he said, we're all getting out. He said, we're all reserves getting out on points. He said, Doug was standing in line too. But he said they were going to take his shoes away from him. That's the only reason he stayed in the Navy. I served with him. Before I start, I'd like to clear up a few points and frequently asked questions. There was an article in a local newspaper, I forget the name of the Common or something like that. I was interviewed by a gentleman. I think we must have been on different planets because completely not correct whatsoever. He talks about moving to New Hampshire and how that my father had to fix into an abandoned house, how my father had to fix the plumbing and the electrical and all that. No, we didn't have plumbing. We had the outhouse. We didn't have electricity. We cut our own wood. So if you read the article, not too good. One thing my friend failed to mention here today, that I'm a graduate of the Navy's instructor school. I actually graduated #2 in my class, but I only tell my closest friends. There were only 2 of us in the class. So please, don't expect too much. The other confusing thing is, most submarine sailors are not deep sea divers, and most deep sea divers are not submarine sailors. I kind of bounce from one to the other. And the reason I got into deep sea diving, when World War II was over, we were in the Philippines for a tour of duty, and I saw all the sunken ships in Manila Harbor. And there was an old chief, which I thought was old at that time, and he said that all these ships were going to be raised, there's going to be some money made out here. He said some divers are going to make a lot of money. So I put in for deep sea diving school, figuring that I would go to the Far East and make some big money diving, because they paid $5 an hour extra. That was big money in those days. Well, as it turns out, I got a set of orders to Solomon's Island, Maryland, on a torpedo and mine testing range. Good tour of duty, but I didn't make the big money that I thought. Then, now I'm no longer a submarine sailor. So I'm a deep sea diver. So where do I go? I have to go on I happen to wind up on a submarine rescue vessel. The worst ship I was on in my Navy career. Anyway, I was lucky enough. My old skipper from World War II was the squadron commander, and he pulled a few strings and got me back into submarines again. Okay, the next thing. People usually come up to me and say, I'm surprised your uniform still fits. This is not the uniform that I retired from the Navy with. I'm very proud of my uniform. I keep it up to date. And it's going to be part of my next big event. I guess it'll be to the Wild Blue Yonder, wherever it happens to be. It'll be part of my feud. The other question, what does the gold insignia, what does that mean? I have to explain, if you have 12 years of good conduct in the Navy, you rate gold hash marks and gold insignia. If you do 11 years and you get in trouble, then you have to start your 12 all over again. In my particular case, when they ask me, I say, this represents 24 years of undetected crime. I was actually born in Newburyport. My family lived in Amesbury. When I was about 5 years old, when the Great Depression came along, my father lost his job. My father was a proud person. He would not accept relief. He could not pay the rent. He originally came from a small town in New Hampshire. Now, I'm going to mention the town. Anybody here knows the town, please raise your hand, will you? How about Snowville, New Hampshire? Two? How many more? Three. Not too big a town, right? Okay, my father originally was born in Snowville, and he knew that he could find an abandoned house to live in as long as he kept it up. The problem was, he made the house too great, and then the owner would sell it on him. So between 1926 and, between 1931 and 36, we lived in 4 houses. They all were sold. Now we moved to Madison, New Hampshire. Now, this is upscale. This is a culture shock for me. Everybody was poor in Snowville and Eaton. Madison was a more affluent town. The knickers, the home-style haircut, that was a no-no in Madison. We were one of 2 Catholic families in town. One of 2 Democrat families in town. So we weren't too popular. The teacher at that time used to read a passage of the Bible, and it was not the Catholic Bible. My mother didn't want me to read the Bible, so I didn't fit too good with the teacher there. Too bad both of them could have been more mature. So when I was 16 years old, I was a poor student, and the war effort was big. People were making big money. I had a friend of mine that worked in Pratt & Whitney in Hartford, Connecticut. He was making $100 a week. I said to myself, I want to make some of this money. So I got out of the Navy, because I was only 16. So most places wouldn't hire me. The one place that I found that I could get a job was the Boston Naval Shipyard. I was a mechanic learner, 37 cents and a half an hour. But I said, oh, I can make it. There'd be plenty of overtime. The problem was, I was a learner. I wasn't contributing to anything, so I didn't get any overtime. So that didn't do too good, and I couldn't afford to stay there. I put a short time in the National Youth Association trade school. It was kind of a follow-up of the CCC camp, and I learned a little machine shop there. Then when I was 17, I joined the Navy. I was lucky enough to get on lucky enough to go to submarine school, get on a brand new submarine. The brand new submarine, the name of the submarine was the Sea Dog. It was commissioned in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in 1944. Now, perhaps many of you don't realize that at the height of World War II, the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard was putting out a brand new submarine between every week and 10 days. That new submarine would go down the East Coast through the Panama Canal into the Pacific to fight the war. The greatest naval shipyard that I was in was the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. So I rode the submarine Sea Dog for 5 war patrols, and most everything is in my book, or actually the Sea Dogs sank 8 ships, 6 of them up in the Sea of Japan, where we had to go through the minefields. And so after the war, I wound up on another new submarine, and I stayed in the Navy. That's when I went to diving school. And after diving school, I come back on another submarine. And then the next thing that happened to me, they needed an instructor to teach scuba diving at the submarine escape training tank. And so I went to underwater swimmer school and became a scuba diver, taught scuba diving, also taught submarine escape. I stayed in the Navy. My last tour of duty in the Navy was teaching Naval Reserve personnel. And I have to say, every time I get congratulated or something that shakes my hand, I have to thank the United States Navy, my submarine buddies, the great shipmates. I would not be the man that I am today, and I'm just so happy. And once again, thank you all for everything. You don't know how much I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts is kept free and strong by the citizens who answer this nation's call to serve and protect and defend its freedom through their patriotic action. We draw inspiration from the brave men and women, nearly 500,000 of whom currently reside in Massachusetts, who serve to keep us free. We must make it our duty to show gratitude to all service members now in uniform and to those who have served this country in the past, including veterans like Douglas Bryant, Kevin Hunt, and Salvatore Franco. We come together today to salute you during this year's annual Newburyport Yankee Homecoming Veterans Luncheon. This is an occasion that provides our community with an opportunity to honor the countless soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, merchant mariners, and Coast Guardsmen who have preserved our freedoms. Thank you.
Hi, I'm State Representative Jim Kalkors, and I want to take this opportunity to thank our veterans and everyone serving in our military. On behalf of Newburyport, Salisbury, and Amesbury, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, thank you for your service to our great country.
Thank you for all your service and all that you've done for our country. Our country wouldn't be what it is without great people such as yourself defending us and keeping us free. A heartfelt thank you.
Hi, it's Mike Doyle, Selectman of the Town of Newbury. I'd like to thank you all for your service, and I look forward to working with you now that I've been appointed to the Eastern Essex District of Veteran Services on the Board of Directors, and I hopefully will help any veteran in the area, especially in Newbury. Thank you for your service once again.
Hi, I'm Sam First Class Kimberly Hughes of the 101 Engineering Battalion, and I just want to thank you for your service.
Hi, this is San First Class Santiago from the 101st Engineering Battalion, and I just want to thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Jillian. I'm Nandi. And we're with the Merrimack Valley Veterans Collaborative, and we just wanted to say thank you for your service. Enjoy your lunch. Bye!
Hello from all of us at In Street Barbershop. We want to thank you for your service and bon appetit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time, service, and dedication to this country. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your goodness, support. As they say, true heroes don't wear capes, they wear dogtails. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. And a special thanks to my 3 favorite veterans, my dad and my 2 grandfathers.
Myself and Dr. Strauss, I'd like to thank you, veterans. Thank you for your service. Ryan, thank you, guys.
I'd just like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to the men and women in our armed forces for your dedication, commitment, and sacrifice for our great nation, and I want to thank your families as well. Thank you.
I want to say thank you to all the service. You and your part of every day, and just thank you for your attitude.
our country, and we are indebted to you. Thank you.
To express my gratitude to the servicemen who not only put their lives on the line for the service of our country and our freedom, but in addition to that, their physical well-being and mental health when they serve our country. I would also like to thank Donnie for the opportunity to express this. Thank you, Donnie.
Hey, to all you veterans, thank you for your service. Those of you who have served in the past and those of you who are serving now, my oldest grandson just got out of the Marine Corps, and I'm so proud of him. I'm also so proud of all the work you guys do. Thank you.
Hey everyone, to all you veterans out there, to include my husband, Lucien LaCroix, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service, your continued service, and your dedication. And thank you to also Don Jarvis for his service, and he continues every day for all you people. Thank you.
I'm a Vietnam era veteran. I never went to Vietnam, but I am a proud veteran. World War II vets, Korean vets were forgotten. Vietnam vets were insulted. The veterans today are given their due recognition. I'm so proud of it. And they should be. Remember, if you can't speak Japanese or German, thank a veteran.
As you achieved, I just want to thank all the veterans for all the time and effort they put in to make everything comfortable for all of us to get by, and all the time that they put into it. And I really appreciate all the efforts, and good luck and good health to all.
Hi, I just want to thank you for your service to our country and for allowing us to show our thanks with today's luncheon. It really has been an honor to serve you.
I would like to thank you for your service. You are some of the bravest people that I know out there, and I could not have done what you have done for our country, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Hello everyone. My name is Danielle Eaton. I am a United States Air Force veteran. I was 11 years off duty. I just wanted to say to all of you, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate everything that you guys have done. I appreciate everything that I've also done. We lost your lives for me. You know, it's my family myself. And I also have a daughter who is Army ROTC. And her spouse who is Army National Guard. Thank you so much for everything that you do and have given sacrifices for me. We all appreciate whatever you make possible. And we thank you so much. You all have a wonderful day.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Salisbury Lions Club, I would like to thank all veterans who served our country with honor. Thank you and God bless.
To all the wonderful veterans out there, thank you for your service. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your hope in this wonderful United States that we live in. God bless.
From one veteran to another, thank you for your service.
As a fellow veteran, I'm sorry I can't be with you here today, but welcome to Yankee Homecoming, and thank you for your service.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts is kept free and strong by the citizens who answer this nation's call to serve and protect and defend its freedom through their patriotic action.
So we have, can you hear me? Yeah. All right, so I have one more special video that we're gonna play for you. However, because of this video, I have to play it through an online link. So we're gonna load the website real quick, the link, and then we will be able to play the video. A very special friend of mine really, he wanted to be here. He could not make it, and he sent in a personal thank you video for all of you that he asked me to play. So let me just load the link and I'll play it for you.
Good afternoon. I'm General Mark Miller, 39th Chief of Staff of the United States Army. As a native New Englander, I'm honored to thank all of our veterans attending the Yankee homecoming this week. You've worn the cloth of our nation. You're part of a 244-year legacy that has secured America's freedom through blood, sweat, and tears. Among you today are veterans from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the current conflicts in various parts of the world against terrorism. Our country is forever grateful for your service and your sacrifice. On behalf of the United States Army, please accept our gratitude, respect, and enduring admiration. God bless each of you. And God bless America. Army strong.
Thank you. And on that note, I want to thank all you guys for your service and dedication to this country. Thank you.